Hey, so I hope you had a really nice end to 2024 leading into 2025. It's been a bit of a year and I hope you had enough time to rest and relax and get ready for the new year. Me personally, I had a bit of a trip to Brisbane, did a bit of tinkering around this place and just got some things in order. So it was really nice to take that step back and really think about what's going to happen. It was a little bit out of my control because being in central Queensland, we're currently dealing with some thunderstorms. It's not like that northern hemisphere where you get that nice cold. We've got the heat and we've got the humidity and thunderstorms as well, and I knocked out my power, so couldn't really do anything else in this back room. So it gave me a bit of time to really consider what 2025 looks for this channel. But first off, before we jump straight into that, I wanted to say thank you to everyone that stuck around and watched my videos, even if you just got something from them to work on your device, or you got inspired to do something, or you just enjoyed one of my little music videos. I do thank you for watching, and really if you like and subscribe, that's just even sweeter, because really I just want this as a space where we can create tutorials and all those little nuanced things that aren't very apparent with these machines, and being able to get the most out of them, because they are really fun to play with, but they also have a lot of unique features that I find really interesting, and I want that to be able to move forward and showcase. So one thing I really enjoy about this channel is setting up those yearly videos where I sort of reflect on the previous year and where I think the channel is going to move forward, because last year was really about music and tutorials, because tutorials, I enjoy making them. I really enjoy showing off those like little nuanced things and getting the most out of the machines, as well as because weekly beats is an off yearly thing, so having a bit of time when you're in the grunt work of just making music, one song per week, taking a step back and seeing how you went. And last year I did have a few hiccups, like October was a complete write-off for me. I had a pretty massive medical chest infection, so that wasn't nice, but I still managed to get a whole bunch of tutorials that I really enjoyed making, and I think they offered quite a lot. And reading your comments, you enjoyed them as well, and seeing how they helped you out. So I'm hoping to really reflect on that and branch that out into these machines behind me, like having more of those tutorials but spread across a variety of different synths. Like you might own some of the ones behind me, and I feel like I'm neglecting these ones behind me a bit, just because I use them more for what I do through the day, but then once I've done, I'll just turn them off and do something else. I don't really reflect on it too much. So sort of thinking about ideas to like being able to film in this space a little bit easier, so I don't have to take the machine out, put it into my setup for recording tutorials and do that sort of stuff. I can be a little bit more agile on the fly, being able to capture things when I've like in the moment trying to get ideas. So we'll see how that pans out, but really the way I've got everything set up now, I feel it makes it a lot easier to capture those ideas. Another thing from last year was I did shift into another 3D channel, so that's where all my 3D stuff goes. But as you can see, I do put a lot of 3D into this channel. It's just not talking about. So if you're interested in that type of work, it will be on the new channel. I did get some new videos out on there, but it'll be something that'll be progressing over time, and it'll be a lot slower release than this channel here, just because of the nature of Blender and 3D. I feel that's going to scale up a lot quicker, and some of the things I want to talk about there are a lot more detailed and talking about geometry nodes and all that good stuff. So it's probably a little bit more technical in sense of 3D. So I don't want that to drown out what is happening here when I talk about synthesizers and all the good stuff that goes with it. So it's just interesting to see how those are reflecting. And like one of the machines I got this year, which was the Yamaha, doing a lot of work there, having a go through some of the features and that. I've got a few more videos lined up for it, especially going through that software, because what I found really interesting was it was made in Unity, and being someone that works with Unity all the time and immersive technologies, and seeing how synthesizers and 3D suites or game engines can talk to each other, I think that's a really fascinating area that I really want to dive into. And it's good to see that there are some machines that are starting to do that sort of communication between the two. So I hope I see more of that in the future. That's more me wishful thinking, but it just shows that we do have that capacity to have sound and visuals interact with each other. And I think one of the main things that did suffer was doing music stuff. Like I did get a few music videos out there, but when I was doing weekly beats, I feel when I started getting October really nuked me for time, so the rest of the year was just pretty much trying to play catch up and do all the other stuff. So music making sort of fell on the backside. Didn't mean I got things out, like playing with the Polyane synth and making those little synth videos. It just pretty much scaled back the idea of what I was trying to make, which was like these more fully fledged tracks that I could play live, and instead it brought that scale right back down to like just making a few little minute videos, just showcasing different sounds and just making a little song in there. But that didn't stop me from releasing some sort of demo or showcase. So the BYGPT, just play on words because I've been having a look at AI and the current climate of how AI is and how it's going to sit. I feel there is a very good point of people who can create is definitely got merit in today. That really comes with a caveat of, is it morally okay to use this stuff? So that was sort of the idea that I played around in the BYGPT, where it's sort of this more dark techno, and that was all done through trackers as well. Is probably my favorite way of making music. So playing with renoise and being able to put something together and sit down and make some of those more nuanced, bigger songs has been really good to do as well. So I didn't get to do what I wanted to in the end, but I did scale back and able to release something that I'm happy with. So they were the goals for 2024, and I feel 2025, because I don't have that pressure of weekly beats sitting on me, like it's a self-inflicted pressure, but it does help you really try out different things, and having that deadline of getting a song out a week, it really does help you to like try things out and get things out as well. So doesn't mean I'm not going to stop making music, but it'll take a little bit more of a back burner to what I was saying, like making tutorials on here. I feel that is going to be the bread and butter of this channel moving forward, because I really do enjoy making it and they do help a lot of people. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up start making some tutorials in this space as well, with some of the machines behind me, like the Digitone, the Grandmother, all those synths. I really do enjoy them. They're probably like, this one here is my right hand person because it's very good synth, but I want to capture those sort of ideas and how I bring them into my sort of sound and music creation. So on that note, I do have a growing list of tutorial ideas that I just wish I could have more time to sit down and record. So if you got any ideas as well, or wanting to know something specific, please feel free to leave it down below. I do go and check that stuff. Like I say it in the end of every video, but I do mean it. It really does help steer the content, and it shows little gaps that I might have missed when I was talking. So I do go down there and answer them as well, just in case like I missed something specific, or I have people reach out via email as well. So I make a note to try and articulate that in a new video. I try and make well-rounded tutorials as well, like starting from very simple to growing into some more complex stuff. I do have some really complex ideas for like the Polyane tracker, because it's one of the machines I love using and it's got a lot of capacity there. It just takes some little tweaks to get the most out of it, and I want to capture those because I think they're going to help a lot of people out. Another area of the channel I'm probably going to focus more on is that review side, because I do think that's what brings people to this channel, and hopefully they find the tutorials to help them out. And I'm one for, I would like to sit on a machine before I give my opinion or give my review of it. Like even a month, I feel like you got to understand the ins and outs of the machine, but also understand how it works, how it fits into my pipeline, but also how it would work for someone else, and be able to give that opinion where it would sit and where it would benefit someone. Because like there are good machines, there are machines that could use some improvements, but they've always got a space where they can be used, and I think that's really important to capture when you do a review. And like taking a step back and sitting on a machine for a bit allows me to build some tutorial content behind it. So I'll be like, hey, what do you think of this machine? Like it does these features and I think it'd be really good for this. And if you want a more nuanced view, here's a bunch of tutorials I prepared earlier for you to understand. And I really feel that is going to help someone else a lot more than me going, hey, this is a LFO and it's got this feature here. Like it's really trying to capture the user experience of the machine and how it works for someone else. Like for me, I live in regional Queensland, so I just can't go down to the corner store and pick up a machine and being able to play it and see how it feels. So I feel other people are in the situation, they are dependent on YouTube and people to give a honest review of what they think of it. And I wouldn't say I'm like the highest person for music content. Like, I have my skills otherwhere, and it's something that I enjoy doing on the side. And really, I use the machines in other different ways, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. But having someone that isn't like technically advanced but has a good enough understanding to say if it's right for someone that might be looking in these areas, or are a professional that are looking for a certain type of sound, being able to offer that advice to someone on the internet, I think that's really going to benefit someone else. And this comes to that point because this is something I've really wanted to show on this channel, which was why I make music. And really it ties into what I do during my day job. So I don't hide the fact that I do immersive technology. So that's using game development and game technologies to drive real world experiences. So that's in education, visualization, and all the industries that use that type of technology. And I think sound has been one of those components that's always usually left to the lay side. And when it comes to like game development, developers will usually jump straight into BFXR and start generating sounds. But what I want to use this channel for, or why I got into music, was one, chip tunes, that's why I enjoy, but using the sounds to drive the player experience. So whether that's using synthesizers over BFXR to generate sounds, or going out and recording samples and then using those samples to create those soundscapes inside the game environment, but also discussing the function of sound. So being able to use sounds as a way to guide the player and also inform them of the player actions. And I think that is going to have some really nice impact here, because there's not much content out there that bridges that gap between like sound design and game development. And I think those sort of ideas, as well as the experience I've had in being able to build those environments to show people how to do it, I think that's going to have some merit on there. So you might see a sprinkling of videos this year, so maybe 2 or 3, just to gauge how it goes and see what happens. But I think that's a really important area for this channel, because that's why I make music, and I think that's going to help a lot more people out. So I think that's enough goals for this year, and I think it's a nice body of work to work towards, especially trying to hit those weekly videos, because it has turned into a bit of a place I enjoy working towards, being able to help other people, but also seeing the really nice comments that you're leaving. Like some of the people I've heard, like they've learned a new feature and it's like, oh, this opens up so much more for me. That's sort of what I wanted for this channel to start with, but now it's sort of turning into a space where, like, if you're not in a place where you have access to being able to go down to the local music shop and trying these things out, it's sort of becoming a nice little community where people can ask questions or be able to learn something new, or just mingle and watch some videos. So I'm really enjoying that aspect of YouTube and just producing videos. Like, hopefully this year it's a lot more easier as I've developed more streamlined ways of capturing this stuff, and maybe you see more of that sprinkling of 3D through these videos, but hopefully more of those tutorials, more of those reviews, and definitely hitting why it's really useful for immersive technologies. So if you got any comments or queries, please feel free to leave them down below. Any suggestions too, because it does add to that list. And thank you so much for sticking around, watching this entire video as well. And I do hope to see you moving forward into 2025. And I hope you have a good 2025 too.